It's time to slow down now, to let the day slip quietly behind you and ease your mind into a gentler world. As you rest your head, let me take you on a journey, not one of great kings or fierce battles, but something far softer, much quieter, a walk through a peaceful village, long ago, in the heart of the medieval countryside. We won't rush, no need to hurry. We'll stroll through the cobbled lanes together, notice the quiet rustling of trees, the scent of bread rising in clay ovens, the soft murmur of chickens in the yard, and the far-off hum of simple, humble lives. This is not a story of war or conquest, but one of work and warmth, of little things done slowly, with care. So close your eyes if you'd like. Settle in, and let your mind wander with me. We're going to visit a village, tucked among rolling hills, where the year is somewhere in the 1300s, and the world is made of wood and thatch and stone. The sun is just beginning to rise. A pale golden light spills over the edge of the hill, gently brushing the tops of thatched rooftops. The village begins to stir, not all at once, but like a slow yawn from the earth itself. There are no clocks here, only roosters, and the soft rhythm of nature. Inside a cottage, a fire is coaxed back to life. A woman, wrapped in wool, stirs the embers with a practiced hand. She adds a log with a gentle thunk, and soon the hearth is crackling softly, its warmth creeping into the corners of the room. The floor is packed earth, cool to the touch, and the walls are made of wattle and daub, a mixture of twigs and clay, patted into shape by careful hands long ago. She begins to knead dough, her hands strong but slow, each motion purposeful. Bread is not fast food, it rises with time. And time is something the village understands. Outside, a sleepy pig snorts and shifts in its pen. Chickens hop down from their perch in the henhouse, feathers puffed and clucking softly. A boy, still rubbing sleep from his eyes, tosses them a few handfuls of grain. The pebbles of food scatter and clatter on the ground. The hens rush to peck, beaks clicking like tiny stones. This is morning, and it is peaceful. Let's walk, slowly now, down the gentle slope toward the heart of the village. There's a narrow path lined with mossy stones. Grasses grow thick at the edges, and you might spot a few early wildflowers nodding their heads in the morning breeze. The houses are simple, low to the ground, their roofs heavy with thatch, tied tightly with straw rope. Smoke drifts slowly from small chimneys, each a whisper of life within. A woman steps out of her doorway, a wooden pail in hand. She walks to the village well, her steps steady, the pail swinging gently. The well is the heart of things, stone-rimmed, with a simple wooden winch. She lowers the bucket down, the rope creaking quietly, and draws up water cold and clear. She dips her hand in, lets the coolness settle her. Others will come here soon, to gather water, to share the first bits of gossip, to greet the day with a nod, and maybe a soft smile. Just beyond, the blacksmith's forge is waking too. There's no fire yet, not until the bellows breathe life into the coals, but tools hang in neat rows. Tongs, hammers, chisels, each shaped by use. The blacksmith himself, broad and quiet, moves about the space in a slow rhythm. He lays out the day's tasks, a broken hinge to mend, a new horseshoe to shape. The smithy smells of metal and old smoke, not unpleasant, just part of the life here. Past the forge is the baker's cottage. Already, it smells divine. Warm, toasty, like wheat and honey. She has been up for hours, her hair tied back with linen, her hands dusted with flour. Loaves line wooden boards, waiting to be slid into the clay oven, whose belly now glows orange with heat. Children pass by, peeking in. She smiles and shushes them playfully. "Come back later," she says, when it's cool enough to eat. A little farther on, we come to the common green, a wide, grassy area where geese wander freely, and the village's shared sheep graze in the sun. A woman sits on a stool beneath a shade tree, spinning wool into thread. Her spindle turns slowly in her fingers, and the wool draws out like a ribbon of cloud. She hums as she works, a tune too old to name. Her daughter sits nearby, stitching a patch onto a worn tunic. Needle in, needle out. She concentrates, but not in a hurry. In the medieval village, everything is done with care. There is time, not for idleness, but for attention. Across the green, a cooper, that's a barrel maker, works in a wooden shed. He's shaping staves, sanding them smooth. You can hear the soft scrape of his blade, a sound like the wind through dry leaves. The barrels he makes will hold cider or salted fish. They'll travel too, to market or to the next town over. They are round but firm, bound by iron hoops. He checks the fit, taps the wood gently, nods to himself, no rush, only rhythm. At midday, the village slows, just a little. People gather beneath a large tree, perhaps an old elm. Its branches wide and welcoming. There's bread to share, cheese wrapped in cloth, maybe an apple or two. Laughter is soft, voices are low. It's not a feast, but it's enough. A traveling peddler has arrived, with ribbons and colored thread, tiny bells, a bolt of blue cloth, and strange little trinkets carved from bone. Children gather round, eyes wide. She tells a story or two about towns beyond the forest, a place with stone streets and glass windows. But here, in the village, life remains simple. Wood, wool, and well water. People, work, seasons, and the quiet joy of enough. The sun hangs a little higher now, casting long, dappled shadows across the village green. The stillness of midday begins to shift as afternoon slowly unfolds itself. Like a woolen cloak being laid across the day, bees buzz lazily around the lavender patch, near the edge of a small cottage garden. Their hum is gentle, like a lullaby for the flowers. Marigolds, cabbages, and a scattering of herbs, rosemary, thyme, maybe a little mint, grow in tidy rows, tended by a quiet hand. In another yard, a boy turns the soil with a wooden hoe, not too deep, just enough to loosen the earth so the onions and leeks can breathe. His father works beside him, silent but steady. Now and then, the man nods, not as instruction, but as approval. They don't speak much. There's no need. The rhythm of the task speaks for them. Dig, lift, pat, step, turn, and again, just beyond the garden wall, in a cottage shaded by climbing vines, you'll find the weaver at work. Her loom is made of oak, large and creaky in its joints, but trusted, dependable. Threads are stretched tightly across the frame, and with every shift of her foot and flick of her wrist, the shuttle darts through, back and forth, like the slow beat of a sleepy bird's wings. She hums, too, a low tune, almost lost in the rustling fabric. A song she's known since she was a girl, one her mother sang, and her mother's mother before that. The woven cloth emerges, soft, earthy, maybe a little uneven, but beautiful, made by hand, made with care. Outside, two little girls play with scraps of thread, twisting them into tiny braids to tie around their wrists. They laugh in whispers, as if afraid to disturb the quiet magic inside. Let's walk a little farther now, past the cottages and down a narrow lane, where wheel ruts from old carts have made the path bumpy. The air smells faintly of hay and something warm and earthy, the scent of soil warmed by sun. Ahead, the fields spread open, wide and golden. This is where the grain grows, wheat, barley, and rye, all in neat lines, gently swaying in the soft summer breeze. Scarecrows stand here and there, not menacing, just quiet guardians stuffed with straw and dressed in worn cloaks that flutter as if they're sighing in their sleep. A group of villagers work together. Their tools are simple: wooden rakes, scythes, and baskets. They move slowly, deliberately, cutting the stalks, tying them in bundles. Their talk is low and easy. They've done this many times before. It's not just work, it's the thread that binds them. Someone brings a jug of water, cool from the stream nearby, and passes it round. The clay vessel sweats in the heat, leaving little dark spots on the sleeves of tunics. They drink, wipe their brows, and return to their rhythm. As we return from the fields, our path brings us near the small church at the village edge. It's made of stone, rough, gray, and uneven, with a crooked wooden door and a bell that rings just once or twice each day. The church is humble, but loved. Its windows are narrow, letting in only slivers of light. Inside, it's cool and shadowed, the air filled with the faint scent of beeswax and wood smoke. Sometimes the priest can be seen outside, walking slowly through the churchyard. He carries a small book in one hand and a worn rosary in the other. He nods to passers-by, offering blessings more with his gaze than with words. Around the churchyard, wildflowers grow freely, buttercups, daisies, and the soft pink of dog roses. Gravestones lean gently, their names worn faint by rain and time. There is peace here, deep peace, a kind that settles over the heart like a blanket. As the light begins to soften and shadows stretch long across the village paths, you can hear the quiet laughter of children. They're playing a game with hoops and sticks, running, then stopping, giggling when the hoop topples into the grass. Others are tossing pebbles in a circle drawn with chalk, trying to land as close to the center as they can. A simple game, but in the eyes of a child, it might as well be magic. One girl pulls a little wooden doll from her apron pocket. It has no face, but it wears a dress sewn from an old scrap of blue linen. She cradles it like a baby, rocking it gently on her lap. Nearby, two boys practice whittling with blunt knives. They shape tiny animals from leftover wood, hands careful under the watch of an older brother. They don't shout. They don't rush. Their world is small, but full. As twilight begins to settle, the sounds of the day change again, softer now, lower in pitch, more hushed. From the far fields, the shepherds return. A small flock of sheep trails behind, bells tinkling softly with every slow step. The sheepdog, a shaggy creature with intelligent eyes, guides them with little more than a glance and a soft bark. The shepherd carries a staff and a satchel slung across his shoulder. He hums as he walks, and the sheep follow as if the tune itself leads them. They pass through the village gate, which is little more than two wooden posts and a promise of home. In kitchens across the village, supper is being prepared. Pots bubble over fires. The smell of stew, onions, turnips, maybe a little meat, fills the rooms like a welcome embrace. Bread, baked fresh that morning, is broken by hand. Each piece shared, each bite a gift. Families sit close around the fire, bowls in hand, talking softly, not about great events, just little things. Who visited the well? How many eggs the hen laid? A funny story from the field. Story passed down from last winter. And sometimes, they don't talk at all. They just sit together, in the flickering glow of firelight, together. Outside, the sky has dimmed. The last blush of gold has faded from the clouds,